This episode of Wardogs, our podcast, is brought to you by Wardogs NFT. We are three dumb digs aiming to make a huge difference in the Web3 space. For more information regarding our Wardogs NFT project, head to our socials, Wardogs_NFT on both Instagram and Twitter, and our website, www.wardogsnftrange.com. The Wardogs, our podcast, aims to inspire people by sharing real-life experiences and what possibilities we have at our fingertips using our connections, skills and disciplines learned from our time in the military. Let's spin some mad worries and have a laugh.
Hi, boys. I have a question for the men. What the fuck do you want? What is it? I can't figure it out.
This episode of Wardogs Out, we're going to highlight the military career and post-military career of Ryan Dodd, a founding member of this mission. Ryan's military career was one that saw him posted to 5RR, where he was a vital member of the mighty 5RR mortar platoon, in which he deployed to Afghanistan on MTF-2. Since discharging, Ryan has established himself as not only one of the best tattoo artists in Australia, but also a successful businessman that has seen him co-own a studio that recently celebrated its 10th year of operations. Himself and his business partner Sean have been the benchmark in tattoo studios on the Gold Coast for quite some time now, and in what can only be described as a heavily saturated market, these guys will continue to improve and crush it like no other. This one will be a cracker, and we do warn our audience now, adult ears are best suited for this one. Mate, welcome back to Cairns. Bit of a change from the Gold Coast, mate.
Yeah, it's nice, beautiful. As soon as I got off the plane, I was like, ugh, thank God, it's warm again.
It's been stinking here lately, so good to have you boys both back here in Cairns too.
Oh, it's good, man. It's, coming from a really cold winter where I am in New South Wales, it's a nice change.
Yeah, fuck that shit. We were out building the other day and getting a sweat on, which would have been unusual. And then we'll probably get a sweat on with a few beers later on too. So, mate, we'll get stuck into it. As odd as these questions are going to sound, mate, coming from us, how are we this morning? And are you prepared to be put to the sword by the two of us as we reveal yourself to our listeners, mate, and more importantly, our Web3 supporters as well?
Yeah, good. Yeah, no, I'm ready. By the way, good intro. You guys definitely over-exaggerated almost everything in that about me.
Oh, I thought you wrote it.
Yeah. We're here just pumping your bags, mate, but you're the one that wrote it, bro. So
sitting in the corner just fucking mazzing.
How can I pump these bags a little bit more? But, mate, yeah, you deserve it, though. It's all true. And obviously my dogs that come in here, so we're going to have some live entertainment mixed in with the podcast today. Yep. So, mate, let's touch on your pre-military career. You've told us in person that you're a bit of a shitbag when you were younger. Let's give the listeners a brief 2-year outlook pre-military and paint the picture for us leading into signing the green line.
Oh, Jesus. 2 years before I was in the Army. So I joined when I was 17. I went away 2 days after my 18th birthday. So 2 years before the Army, like I would have been lucky to have a bloody hair on my ball sack. But yeah, just was living with my old man. He was pretty busy with just being a chippy and all that, so sort of just left a little bit to my own sort of devices, which was good because obviously fucking almost a little bit sort of had to look after myself and learn a little bit about that. But yeah, obviously, as you can imagine, used to sort of run amok a bit as well. And then yeah, mum just fully fucking what's the bloody word? Mum literally just conned me into joining the Army. I had my heart set on engineering or maybe architecture or something like that. And by the time I finished school, I was just pretty sick of the learning environment. So she sort of just pushed me in the direction of the Army, saying that engineers are in the Army. So
not the engineers that you were thinking.
Yeah, without even reading or researching anything, I just signed up as a combat engineer. Did the Joe's Day. Mum made me wear a suit, and fuck, did I not feel like a fucking proper
lid,
just a fully young peanut. I mean, but at the end of the day, like it definitely worked for me. But I was the only one in a suit there.
I think I did the same thing.
Yeah. I remember just sitting around and I mean, just the drop kicks around me, obviously. But yeah, I'm sitting there in a suit and I'm just like, oh, what a fucking loser.
Yeah.
But yeah, my recruiter was like, yep, fucking points in the box straight away for rocking up in the suit. But yeah, in the terms of like not researching shit, I remember even he gave me that phone call where you got to answer the couple of questions about what you're going to do and that.
Yep.
He's like, oh, you been researching? I was like, fucking no.
What weapon do you use?
Yeah, I was like, oh shit. So yeah, no, it was just a young little shit really, and yeah, fucking went away 2 days after my 18th birthday, which was awesome to have my 18th at home, and then boom, straight onto the plane, and then the bus from Sydney Airport. I'm pretty sure the old crusty sergeant waiting at fucking Sydney Airport for you, and chuck you in your hotel room, give you his little spiel that night, make sure you're ready in the morning this time, blah da da.
I can still remember his face too in that shitty little airport. Don't you?
He's fat little bald sergeant. I remember, big ranger moustache.
Just flexing his power on you already too. Like, oh god, here we go.
So you signed up as an engineer. What happened?
So during Kapuka, I was like, oh look, it's not. I had bombardiers and arty sergeants and that, and it's like it's not really anything that I sort of thought it would have been. And I was lucky enough to be able to core transfer just like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks into Kapuka. So yeah, I thought as an 18-year-old, I thought shooting shit and blowing shit up, as the way infantry was described to me, sounded like it was my bag. Yeah.
The bells and whistles.
Yeah. So I'm sure it was just a paperwork thing changed for him at that time. And yeah, I just kicked on and went fucking normal.
So would you say that your mum was the main factor in joining the military?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, it was great. I'm fucking proper thankful and proud of what I did in the army and that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't knock it one bit. You know, I probably only ever got out because all the other boys were getting out. If I had have stayed in, you know, I mean, if I wasn't doing tattoo, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably still enjoy being in the army. You know.
Yeah.
From what I can remember, the fun times and that, like I loved it. But yeah, mum definitely pushed me in that direction.
I would probably say, you know, if my body and brain didn't start falling apart, I would definitely still be in the suck. Like, I loved the job. I absolutely loved it. But, you know, the old body doesn't agree with that anymore. So signing the line and heading off, you said your enlistment date was March.
Yeah, was it March 10th? March 10th.
March 10th. So give us the rundown of your initial year and your thoughts behind getting posted to Darwin, because you had an interesting experience. You boys did IETs in Darwin, didn't you?
Yeah. So yeah, did Pookie, fucking no dramas. Went away to Singo. I was in holding platoon for a bit in Singo. And then yeah, one day we just formed up, and they were just like, righto, names, blah 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 blah, Private Dodd, da 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 da, all these other names. Get your stuff ready. You're all going to Darwin tomorrow. And I was like, Sarge.
I'm not going to 6, are you?
Yeah, Sergeant. Sergeant.
I want to go to 6.
Waving at him, Sarge. I put my preferences for like Brisbane, like 8, 9. Was 8, 9 even around back then?
Yeah.
Maybe 6. Yeah, I put my preferences for 8, 9 or 6 in Brisbane. Like, I don't think I'd be going to Darwin. And he goes, mate, you're fucking going where you're fucking told. And I'm like, oh, really? Oh, okay. and yeah, fucking boom, up to Darwin. And then, yeah, we started our IETs up in Darwin, and that was good. That was, I mean, I think any course running battalion was always a bit more sort of a smash course from what I saw. But
what time of year was it?
Would have been, it was full dry season, so like June through to maybe September.
Yeah,
I
not
think.
too bad, not build up yet.
Nah, it was nice, man. Like, I mean, from then the years we'd done in Darwin and running around in the fucking scrub up there, like we were in the best time of the year to be going out and doing that shit. So yeah, that was good.
So
I mean, I probably would have fucking rather be in Darwin warm than Singo's fucking weather at that time of year.
Yeah.
I mean, we did IETs in
the spring.
Spring, yeah. So it was still relatively hot in summer, but then we had dudes go down with hypothermia.
The
With
cold
cold
one,
at
yeah.
night time.
Yeah.
Mate, it's fucking 40 degrees in the day, mate. What's going on?
Yeah, we had we had one of the IETs go down with heat and then got heat stroke on a pack march.
Because you guys got pumped, eh? Like,
Yeah,
From all records, like those courses that were run at Battalion were savage. And for the boys that got posted to Darwin, there was a couple of well-known corporals there that just absolutely did you boys in.
Yeah, well, you were going into their battalion, so they definitely want to make sure you were worthy of it.
And when they're probably not worthy in their own right, to tell the truth. So big shout out those corporals. Hopefully don't run into you again because you're big men. You know who you are. Deployment-wise, at 508, went to Afghan, both of you, on MTF2. Let's dive into the role you're deployed as, because you went as a specialist.
Yeah. So, I only just missed out on a Timor trip, which I was spewing about. The sister IET platoon was in 2 weeks in front of us. Their entire platoon went to Timor. And then there was like 2 or 3 guys from our platoon who ended up going to Timor. So, fuck, that would have been absolutely beautiful. Come straight out of IETs, go straight over 8 months with, I think it was TLBG 5. Yeah. That would have been fucking cream of the crop.
Couple more gongs on the chest.
Yeah, a little bit more money in the bank. That would have been fucking delicious. But yeah, so we missed out just by a little bit of that, which is all good. But then with Afghan, I got a mortars support course to the mighty mortars. Fucking best, honestly, best funnest job ever.
Hands down.
And then so I think I did my course about maybe 10 months, maybe 10-ish months, I think, before the trip. So then, back into mortar platoon and then fucking training up with the platoon and then, went away with MTF2.
And Combat Team Charlie.
Combat Team Delta. So we were out of Marshall in the Chora-Baluchi Valley, which was sick.
So what were you? Were you like 3 on 6 or?
I was the orange peeler. No, I was a number 2 on 3. I was look, mate, I'm fucking good across all the spots on the line, but unfortunately, some of the boys in the section weren't great across some of the spots, and so they.
You just want to touch on what that means?
I dropped the bomb. I throw the bomb down the tube, basically. You've got number 1 who aims it, who fucking dials in the C2 site. You got number 2 who holds the bomb and ready to drop it down the tube. And then you've got your number 3 who's prepping the ammo for whatever sort of charge bags and, fuse settings and stuff like that we were getting.
Get the Red Bulls.
Yeah, Red Bulls. You got the the Seco who'll be running around checking everyone, and then you'll have the 2RC with a CPOA. What the fuck does that mean? What is that? Control post operator?
Oh, look, I can't remember, mate. I should know this.
Communication post operator assistant, I think.
CP.
Yeah, CP. Anyway,
you're
on the radio. On the radio.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's how the sections run. So I was number 2 on the third tube command post. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, right. I've just completely lost what I was going to say. Oh, yeah.
Do you want me to keep waffling on?
No. So I got it. So you were still pretty young at that stage.
Yeah, I was
you
20.
deployed.
So I deployed. I was 20 years old. I think I was the youngest on our patrol base for the most of the trip until I think we got one of the engineers who was a rocket replacement, and he was 20 but just a little bit younger than me.
So when, you're getting sent to Afghan, do you honestly believe at that age, 20, you were prepared to go into combat? Or do you think the military prepared you enough to go to combat?
I reckon I was pretty, in the terms of gun-ho, I was very, very keen. Yep. And I got pulled up a couple of times from the older boys who'd done a couple of trips because of my keenness, just being like super ready to get into a fight.
Yep.
Which, look, I was still fucking stoked about. So, in the terms of being prepared, I felt like I was mentally ready to go. In the terms of maturity and experience, obviously pretty young, but we're in an environment that you learn very, very quick. We had one of our snipers get shot in the 3rd patrol of our entire trip. Before boys were even in Afghan, one of our boys is already getting sent back to Australia. So that was out of my patrol base. That was a very quick eye opener. Going, holy fuck, this is not like a summer camp. This is the real deal. Switch on. And I think that was for myself anyway. That was probably like a really good thing in a bad way, like it was a good thing to have that reality check straight away. So you don't have that level of complacency at all at the start. It's just fucking righto. This is serious. Like, make sure you switch on.
I think it was a big help too, because at the time the battalion had a heap of experienced people.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that too. Like, people underestimated 5RR, but like when we got there, and we've said this before, the battalion was full of experienced veterans.
Yeah.
They were all grown men too. Like, they weren't little boys. So when we walked into the battalion, these boys are jacked, like 25 and up, like mid-30s, heaps of gongs on the chest. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I think from my section, like we had me at 20 years old up to 38-year-olds in my section, and boys who were just weapons, like I think I was the only one in my section who hadn't done it at least one trip.
Yeah.
And then there were some boys who'd done this was their second Afghan, done Iraq. A couple of boys had done Iraq, Timor, and this was their Afghan trip. So yeah, there was plenty of boys to put me back in my spot when I might say a silly lid thing like fucking can't wait to get fucking shot at, and then these cunts are like, pull your fucking head in, mate.
Yeah. So from the trip, have you got a good story? Any?
Oh, you've got a couple of worries. We know you do. So yeah, let's hear two of your best. We'll go. No time constraints on this episode too. So obviously Ryan likes to chew the ear off us. So let's hear it here, mate.
I think
and your biggest stitch up too. Let's hear that too.
My biggest stitch up was as in like to me or what I've done to other people. I just used to love playing out bush. You just walk back from like fucking the CHQ area and be like, oi boys, you're going to be fucking gutted, but I just heard the CSM talking to cunts and we're going to get transport a day later now. And then you just watch it just go through the boys like wildfire and they're, for fuck's sake, we've been out there fucking...
You would be that bloke too. Just a pest.
What do they call it?
Fucking pest.
You love eating off the bloody negative morale.
Yeah, well, I feel like when someone else is hurting more, I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. Look at that cunt.
Yeah, because you made him feel like that too.
Yeah, so I mean, that would be maybe like my stitch up. So I can't pinpoint a stitch up, but I mean, overseas, I think I consider myself lucky enough. I got to see CFA course before the trip.
Yeah.
And then because we were starting to get a couple of boys getting hurt and the need for an extra CFA or two on the patrol, they would take us from a mortar section, which was cool because it gave me the opportunity to get out on the ground as well. So I reckon I would have done maybe half patrols, half in the patrol base. Got to do ops, company-size ops where you support the battle group as it moves through, which was pretty boring. But getting out and on the ground and patrolling stuff with the boys was cool. So yeah, I mean, fucking a funny story in Afghan. I literally almost got my fucking head shot off by being just a dumb lid.
Just a lid. Were you suntanning?
No. Oh, no, yeah, no. So the way this works, so they had these like civilian militia checkpoints that were getting built up the route. I think it was 66, Route 66, I think they called it, up the Chora-Baluchi Valley. They were wanting to bitumen it. So in the prep for that, they needed to basically protect it so the guys can come and build that road. So they were building a checkpoint just on random dudes' houses or on their roofs or on little hills every sort of 200 to 300 metres. And these poor cunts, like they had nothing, like they would just chuck a couple of rows of sandbags up and that was their little checkpoint. And so every single day, the Taliban would just absolutely smash these cunts. And we could watch from the patrol base as we look down towards Qudus and that into like the Baluchi. We can't see Qudus, but obviously just down in that direction. We would watch RPGs exploding on these sandbags. We would fucking watch just Tracer going into the dark every single night. It's like a fireworks show every day. And so we used to support them with our 84s. We used to hit them a little bit with the Mark 19, the automatic grenade launcher out of the tower. The snipers used to have cracks here and there, but the fucking old Terry used to sort of work out where we could see them, and they started sort of hitting these checkpoints from sort of different spots, so that way we couldn't really support them too easily. We used to fire mortar or loom missions up over the green zones so the checkpoints can see them and shit, but yeah, so basically what we were doing was setting a pattern every single day. We would stand to, and there'd be about fucking 15 heads pop up and along the side along like a patch of wall, which is, I don't know, maybe 20 meters wide or some shit. We'd all have 84s on our fucking shoulders and, firing fucking sniper rifles and just, having a good yippee shoot trying to help, right? And one day I was like, this is going to be sick, cunt. This one's going to be it. Like, I'm fucking jumping up on I eyed off this Connex near our tubes up the back of the base. And I was like, I'm sitting up on top of that Connex. I'm going to fucking helmet cam this whole thing. So that way I got some cool footage, show my mates at home and shit like that. And so then I was fucking up on this Connex. I was in the prone position, being safe,
And I'll just get into
Sounds
prone.
like that'll help. Yeah.
And
Put my head first.
So bang, 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 firework display started. We all stood to. We're all fucking having a bit of a look. And then next minute, probably from about maybe like 4 or 5 different spots across our front of our green zone, across the front of our patrol base, the entire patrol base just got fucking lit up. And I remember, and you could see it in the video, you can hear the round zipping over my head as well. And you can see, splashes just going, up towards the patrol base. And before you even realise, next minute, that's when it's fucking over your head. Fucking Star Wars going on. And even the Connex that I was on caught a fucking couple of rounds. And so I fucking absolutely shit my pants like a little fucking... what is that, whimpering dog, just fucking with my tail between my legs, literally rolled off this Connex onto the fucking Hesco, fell over into the dirt. The boys are all behind this hardened fucking compound wall that was already inside our patrol base, just absolutely laughing their fucking heads at me as I'm just fucking scattering for fucking dear life, And yeah, we sat by this wall, man, and fucking the cunts hit us for maybe, I don't know, half an hour into the night until we started returning fire and getting real back into them. But we were copping rounds on the way Marshall was. It was sort of on a bit of a hill, so the back of the patrol base was a bit exposed. If you shot over the top of the front wall, you would hit the inside of the back wall. And so our tubes, the Hescos around our tubes were receiving fire. Our Hesco was little splashes in the inside of the tower up the back of the patrol base, splashes and shit all along the tower. The whole patrol base got peppered.
Yeah.
No one got hurt. No dramas like that.
I don't know who surveys these bloody patrol bases and fobs, because we had one and you couldn't walk around half of it because it was just so open. It's a good idea, bro. When you see a valley, you just whack the patrol base right in the bottom of the valley. Great thinking, guys.
Yeah. Well, as well, just to make it even better, we were about 400 meters away from the green zone, so just that little bit too far for the stars to be beautifully inaccurate, and then you've got them cunts just being able to whack us from a little bit further. So yeah, no, like you said, Tom, it was well thought out.
I'm sure someone got a dong for all those places.
Oh, for sure.
And as well, if we walk left out of patrol base, bang, they know exactly where you're going. You walk right out of patrol base, bang, they know exactly where you're going. There was no deception at all from where we were anyway. We were just in, 400 meters out into the dash and just sitting pretty. Anyway, but yeah, so that was a funny story, and yeah, the boys fucking thought that was pretty funny. They obviously put some shit on me for a fair bit of the trip after that.
Was the infamous video? I remember because obviously I was back at home when you guys were over.
We've got other shit, yeah.
And then the video popped up on the news, and I remember I think it was Geezer.
Yeah,
you see him yelling on the news. He's going crazy. It was all over the news. What was that?
Well, so yeah, that's another funny story. So much stuff just skips your mind, But I remember because my mum bless her bloody heart. I was like, yeah, Mum, I'm in this Air Force base. It's boring as fuck. I'm not doing anything fun.
It's
like,
on
da,
the
da,
news.
da. It's called Marshall, da, 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 da. And I was like, don't worry about me. I'm all good. You know, can't wait to get home. I've just been playing too much Xbox, blah, 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 blah. And then so the first thing, Hugh Remington rocks up to our patrol base and about, I don't know, it would have been not even 5 minutes when he got into the patrol base. One of our cars that were down the road on a hill, just observing the road, got absolutely just lit up. And so because it was a big shoujo, the LAV cars just positioned. They're just doing Z patterns through the green zone with 25s. We're shooting fucking 84s. We're shooting the Mark 19. Apparently, dudes were shooting pistols just to be getting any sort of ammunition off. But
Round down range, oh.
So, allegedly, yeah. So yeah, Hugh Remington's there with his little handheld camcorder, just batting his willy while he's videoing us all shooting out of the patrol base. Geezer's there with his fingers between his ears, calling target references as the 50 cal's going off behind him. So it made for good footage, but it was funny because Hugh, I watched that story, and the first thing that Hugh Remington says, he goes, Cop Marshall, the most dangerous place in the world to be an Australian right now. And I'm like, oh, fuck, hope the fucking old girl's not watching this one.
It was all over the news. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, love to jazz it up. But again, like that nothing. Oh, we went out and did a clearing patrol the next day. We found a whole heap of blood in that, which was pretty fucking cool. But yeah, no bodies, nothing to really sort of chase up too quickly.
So coming back, you guys got back in 2011, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think it was about end of June 2011. We went over in September 2010, and then June 2011.
Coming back from Afghan, we all know the environment that existed at Favre. It was like a toxic fucking place to be. There was a bit of rank issue, I would say. We won't go too much into that. And then everyone sort of got disgruntled. And 2012, 2013 saw the mass exodus.
Yeah.
Out of Favre,
Well, everyone. I'm pretty sure like dudes were getting their leave just suddenly cut short so they could go on M113 drivers courses. Next minute, I'm pretty sure they had about 8 or 9 months straight of bush to get qualled to be the Ready Battle Group, and it was all just a ticker box for the fucking CO.
Yeah.
And I think it was just as well like you boys remember the old RSM sat up in the fucking boozer parade and he goes, yous are all a fucking cancer if you think you done good overseas, yous are all a cancer to the battalion.
Yeah,
me and the CO are going to cut yous out like the fucking virus yous are, blah, blah, blah. It's like, fuck you, can't sue you later.
It was a very dark time. And, I think the army lost a lot of good soldiers in that period. I mean, if that had been handled a lot better, because obviously boys had a hard time overseas, I think if it had got handled so much better, they would have seen a lot of soldiers stay on.
Yeah.
Which is
well, again, I mean, with that sort of era, like the trips were sort of drying up. Like there was no dangling carrot anymore either. So, you get talked to like that a little bit too much. Maybe that's when you are just like, oh, fuck you, like I'm out of here. Yeah. And it's probably a bit unfortunate because a lot of dudes just got out without even knowing or having any sort of plan to what they're doing,
Yeah, which is scary. And
which is silly.
We harp on about that a lot. It's vital to have a plan when leaving the military.
Yeah.
If it's 6 months out, start thinking about that straight away because when you leave, you no longer have that tit that you can suck on anymore.
Yeah.
You don't get your food given to you. Your life isn't as regimentalised.
When you fucking blow all your money on payday weekend and you have to go eat the mess for the next 2 weeks.
But I can't blame anyone for doing that either because things were pretty bad at that time.
They were dire. But, we'll leave that one there. So we won't sort of harp on about that too much because,
we'll be here all day.
We would be all
Feel
day.
start blowing a gasket.
Yeah, I probably will blow a gasket. Fuck those dudes. So moving on, did you start tattooing before you left the army? Were you doing like some on the side or...
Yeah, so that was probably my luckiest. And I say lucky because everything with tattooing sort of just fell into my lap. I've been super lucky to get into tattooing and then again, I guess lucky to, be sort of driven enough to sort of push myself into, you know, just not sort of giving up, I guess. But when I was in Afghan, obviously we're only patrolling 3 to 4 times a week because, you know, there's plenty of downtime. You can only play so many fucking games of ping pong and watch so many fucking TV series and
Arsehole and
Deuce,
card games
yeah,
and stuff.
just smash the terabytes of other stuff on your hard drive as well. But
Smash your wrist.
but yeah, so just to sort of pass the time, I was starting to draw a little bit, and I was harassing the boys on the base. I was like, "Wait, fucking, if you're gonna get tattooed when you go back home, let me know what you want, and I'll just draw your designs up. At least you got something to show your tattooists then, you know." And it was just purely out of just boredom that I started doing that. Yep. And then that's when I sort of started to, I think a couple people started pepping me up, like, fuck, these are good. Like, you should be a tattooist. And I'm like, fuck, I haven't really thought about it. But, you know, started Googling how to do it or what to do or, you know, no real idea, no real direction. I tried to find as much info as I could online, but it was all just very sort of like scattered and not sort of, like, to be honest, now that I know what to do, that was like absolute bullshit that I read online.
Yeah.
But yeah, so from that, I came home on my post-deployment leave. I started getting tattooed myself. So I got my sleeve done, had a half of my leg done. And it was when I was getting tattooed off this guy who I ended up then doing my apprenticeship under. He was a legend. He just fully worded me up, everything that I would need to sort of know or do. And then as well, to his credit, he got a full list of equipment that I needed to order, and he ordered it for me so that way I could get it because you don't generally get tattoo gear unless it's delivered to a studio.
Yeah.
So
okay.
he ordered all this gear for me through his boss, and yeah, I paid for it and got it. And he just literally said, he goes, "Go home and just start fucking tattooing your mates." And I was like, righto. And now that I know, I'm not advising that's probably not the best idea of ways to go, but that's the way I went. And so then I went back to Darwin after my leave, just with the tattoo machine in my hand, just fully gung-ho ready to go.
Start stinging.
And I was like, come on, boys, down, you know? And every single person, very smart of them, was like, you're not coming anywhere near me with that tattoo. And so I was a bit of a fucking, oh no, this isn't like going to plan. And then so yeah, one day I think I might have got knocked off early for some reason. I was like, yep, I'm just going to try and tattoo myself. And so then I tattooed this eagle just above my knee. And yeah, I think I had to go back to work halfway through the piece. So I went back to work with a bleeding knee, fucking went, I don't know, did the boozer parade or whatever it was, then went back home and finished the rest of the piece. For anyone who gets tattooed, like having that break between, you know, the lunch break or whatever, when you come back, it's just so shit to get tattooing again. So yeah, I would not advise to try things like that either, but that's the way I did it. And then yeah, I remember Scotty Hayes. You remember little Scotty Hayes?
Yeah.
Scotty Hayes was like, you know what? I will let you tattoo me after he saw this tattoo. And I was like,
victim.
yeah, I was like, fucking oath. And then so I was like, well, I'm going to have to work out how to charge people because I just need to make it a little bit just to cover my expenses. So I was like, $50 for a tattoo, whatever you want, as big as you want, $50. That's all I'll charge. And Scotty was like, yeah, mate, no worries, blah, blah, blah. Tattooed some angel on his arm with like a little half portrait and shit in there as well, which again, like fucking second tattoo, don't even know how to set up a tattoo machine. And I'm trying to tattoo this angel with like a half portrait on his arm. And, you know, it looked dog shit. But like for that level of like what I was at, like it was half sort of presentable, you know? And from there, every other one of the boys saw that and they were just like, bang, we want to get tattooed off you. So I was really lucky, again, super lucky that I had the big community of army boys who have got fucking
A lot of skin.
and no common sense.
A lot of spare cash.
Yeah, they're just like fucking oath, tattoo me. Yeah,
Perfect
so
timing after Afghan too. Like
yeah, so I probably tattooed for about maybe 7 or 8 months, I reckon. You know, maybe 2-3 tattoos a week in the afternoons after work or on the weekends. So yeah, by the time I left the army, I'd already had a few tattoos under my belt, and yeah.
How long into like doing all the lads and whatnot, did you think that I could really make a go out of this?
I remember when I was doing them and I was like, fuck, you fucked that little line up there. You're like, oh, damn it. So then I remember that was my challenge. I was like, just do this tattoo without fucking up something, you know? And then maybe it probably took, I don't know, maybe like 3 months, 4 months of just trying to tattoo and then being happy and going, yes, you did like clean lines. You didn't go outside the line. You know, you did that. So yeah, probably about, you know, maybe 3 months of doing that before I was like, I actually think I might want to do this as like a job. Yeah.
And so did you have like an apprenticeship lined up before you discharged?
When I was in, I had a weekend planned back on the Gold Coast and I G'd up with the bloke who'd got all the gear for me and that. I was like, can I meet your boss? Can I get, you know, an interview with him to try and get an apprenticeship with him? And he was like, yeah, mate, no worries, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, cool, sweet as, organised. Like 2 weeks later, I was actually coming home and I was like, oh, hey, bro, like I'm coming home this weekend. Like what time can I go and meet this boss, you know? And he's like, oh, fuck, I'm at a convention this weekend. I'm not around, but just like go into his studio and just go and see him.
Yep.
And just take a booklet of your pieces and just sort of just have a chat. He'll be fucking sweet with you. And yeah, you can line up an apprenticeship when you finish. And I was like, sweet as, that's a piece of piss. I've rocked in to his studio where I've been told to go. And I'm like, hey, mate. And he's like, yep, who are you? And I'm like, oh, g'day, I'm Ryan Dodd, fucking blah, blah, blah. This is my spiel. I'm in the army at the moment, but I'm getting out soon. I want to get an apprenticeship with you, please. Gretsch has told me to come down and see you. And he's like, Gretsch has told you that? Because I don't fucking know anything about it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, anyway, I brought a portfolio for you. Like if you want to have a look through, just see how you feel. And, you know, if you've got any tips or anything, and then, you know, maybe we can work out a date for when I get back for when I could probably start here, or we can have another interview. And he goes, yeah, give me a look. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone turn pages so fucking quickly with such a revolting look on their face. and so, yeah, he flicked through my book in about fucking 0.2 seconds, literally stood up, looked at me over the book and just like, these are all fucking shit. He goes, you need to learn how to fucking draw first before you even think about picking up a tattoo machine, mate. And I just stood there just stunned mullet, you know? And I was like, whoa. And again, like,
box,
yeah, but again, like from me just being so happy and so confident, yeah, I'm doing all right, fucking to bang, my whole life just got fucking cut down at the knees. And he just looks at me as I'm just standing there just fucking full, just paralyzed. And he goes, is that all you wanted? And I was like, oh, yeah. And he's like, sweet as, we can get the fuck out of my studio. And I was like... And so then I turned around, I walked out. My mate was down the road because he wanted to come with me. And I was like, no, you're not coming in, cunt. Wait down the road. And yeah, he's like, how'd you go? And I'm just like, get in the car, cunt.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, and so I went back up to Darwin. I was like, fuck, maybe I might pull my discharge. Like fucking this tattoo might not be up for me, you know? And then, yeah, I sort of like, I didn't tattoo for a little bit. Maybe I didn't tattoo for a month or two. And then I was like, nah, fuck this old cunt. Like I'll just start drawing. I won't worry about tattooing. I'll start drawing. So then, yeah, I just started drawing like a lot more. I had a couple of drawings, but yeah, like I just started drawing a lot more heavily into that. And then, yeah, so that was my first introduction to then my first boss. And then fucking stupidly, I just fucking thought I'd still go to that same boss and have a crack. It was mainly because of Gretsch. Like I wanted to work under him. He's a good dude. And he taught me how to tattoo, you know, so that was my main sort of fucking, you know, attraction. And then, yeah, so then the second time I was introduced to Jaff properly and I had a proper interview with him. And he was like, yeah, mate, yeah, no worries. I'll put you on. That's all right, the sweet as. And I was like, fuck, this cunt's like full just different person now.
But maybe if you'd done that the first time, you wouldn't have gone back and tried to better yourself, you know?
Yeah, who knows? But, well, I mean, I spoke to him. I hit him up a couple of years later and he's like, oh, I don't even remember the first time. And I'm like, yeah, well, I fucking do, cunt. I was scarred.
I'm haunted by it. It still haunts me to this day.
Yeah. So, so that was, and then I spent a couple of months just fucking around after the army trying to get a night job. It was pretty tricky. I did all this experience for bar work and just try to suss some sort of job because you don't get paid as an apprentice. So
That's tough.
Very tough.
Yeah, so I was trying to get a second job and just no one wanted to put me on. I was fucking going around. These dole bludgers were getting all these courses like given to them for these experiences and that sort of like barman experience and that. I was paying for it out of my pocket and then still not getting jobs. I was like, fuck, this is fucked. But I ended up getting a Cert 2 in security and crowd control, and then ended up just being a fucking stupid security guard. Well, not that security guards are stupid. I felt like a stupid security guard on the door of a couple of fucking tiny little shit pubs. And then, did that while I was doing my apprenticeship.
Not an easy job either.
No, it'd be tough.
Dealing with drunk dudes, especially on the Goldie, man.
I was very bad at my job. I did not care about the bar at all. I caught blokes smoking weed, doing fucking rack and that. I was like, just don't do that in front of me, boys. Like, I don't really care. You know, like I'll just have a little slap on the pokies here and there, a little more past it. I literally
chuck a pineapple in the bricky's laptop.
Yeah, look, I mean, not that I had fucking much money to throw around, but I just called myself a glassy in a stupid fucking uniform.
So
to be honest,
I vaguely remember you were doing reserve work as well.
Yeah, so I was doing my tattoo apprenticeship 6 days a week for no money. I was doing 3 nights a week security, Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, and then I was doing army reserves on Tuesdays, which was my only day off from tattooing. So.
Yep.
If they had weapons escorts or whatever, I'd be like, fucking oath, give me him, cunt. Like, I need the money. And then, I'd have the little 3-hour fucking reserve meeting that night as well.
It's probably a good way for boys to maintain a little bit of regimental life, like stay in the reserves just in case shit goes south as well.
Well, to be honest, man, for that first, 3 months of me trying to get a night job, I was doing fucking reserve shit all over the joint, man. Yeah. And it kept me alive. If I wasn't able to do, I even went out bush with the reserves, cunt. Holy fuck. me and fucking one of the boys from 5, he was in my reserve unit, and so he was the sec, I was 2IC. We're like, well, maybe we'll do a bush trip. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? I reckon reserves would be a bit more like camping. And holy fuck, these cunts were the warriest motherfuckers ever, bro. I'm surprised we weren't digging shell scrapes, cunt. That's how fucking warrior these guys were, you know? And you've got these little, I didn't realise, but you've got lieutenants in the reserves. They're not real army officers.
Yeah.
They're uni students, and they're reservists just like you. So we had this little fucking weasel officer. He was some med student at Griffith, and he went out bush with us, and his only talent in his life was being able to recite the PAM. Everything else he's fucking just garbage at. And every day he'd be like, make sure you're all cammed up, boys. I'm looking at the cunt. I was like, where's your cam paint, cunt?
Was he not wearing any?
None, bro. None.
I can't stand that, man. But you got to practice what you preach, man.
Oh, man, look, I mean, the only way to have fun with it, me and Richo were just like, righto, cunts, come around, we're doing a cam lesson. And me and Richo you got to cam your teeth up, cunts. Yeah. If we see whites of we're like, if we see whites of your teeth, you're fucking not cam. So we're eating cam paint, cunt. Richo's putting a bit in his eyes and shit.
Make sure you cam your eyelids.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So, I mean, it was the only way to get through it. Just have a bit of fun with it, you know. But the reserves, that was good, man. I rate it. I was just picking up every single bit of reserve work I could get because that was keeping me afloat.
It's probably a good idea that people do maintain that reserves. I think, we might preach that a little bit more.
Yeah, well, you can be as fucking butthurt as you want for getting out or whatever your reason you want to get out, you don't have to go to every reserve unit, every reserve fucking night. If you feel like it, go for it. You know what? Sometimes you might have a bit of fun. You might do a mad PT session. You go, oh, yeah, that might fucking make me feel better. It wasn't like normal shit army.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to have a fucking little taste of going out bush again, can't go reserves bush. It's a fucking eye opener. We did live fire section attacks, and holy fuck, I'm like, yeah, mad. I wasn't ever a 2IC in battalion,
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, mad, I'm fucking 2IC, sick, yeah, boys, let's fucking, this brick, let's go, cunts. And I'm banding. I've got this reserve dude next to me. He trips over, fires around into the ground before he goes prone. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just be fucking seeing from a couple meters behind you now, cunt. I'm like, motherfucker, put that thing on safe, cunt.
Put a BFA on that. Put it straight back to a red BFA for you, mate.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, but, that's like, that was fun, but yeah, again, like, if you want to get your little fucking splash of fucking green again, like, just do that shit.
So your skills and disciplines that you learned in the military, what do you reckon has sort of helped you in conducting business now? Because obviously you still are fairly regimentalised with how you go about things. I think we're all still fairly like that too.
Yeah, I think I've probably picked up a fucking little mild case of OCD since leaving, but I think
noticed.
just don't leave me fucking door open. Yeah, no, I think just being able to have like good routine.
Yep.
I think routine kind of keeps me real sane. As soon as I'm wrecking my routine, I'm a bit out of it.
Yeah.
But as well, like I developed like a real strong competitiveness being in the army, I reckon, and being around the fucking group of boys where
100%.
it's a bit sort of testosterone driven. Everyone's doing good. We're all team, but at the end of the day, like you want to be the fucking best in the team. So like I feel like that team. That sort of that hunger for competitiveness that was, probably before the army I had that, but I was more sort of really elevated in the army, and now I've continued that into my work, so that competitiveness definitely drives me to always try and, I don't know, it might sound like a fuckwit sometimes, but I'm like, I want to hold myself higher than other cunts because I want to be better than the other ones.
Well,
other people,
and you're
what I
a bit of a perfectionist as well, and obviously, without those two things, you wouldn't have become as good of an artist as what you are.
Yeah. So I think, and as well, like, look, I'm a rat bag still, but just having that little bit sort of right from wrong discipline as well. You can bend the rules here and there, but there's some things just do the fucking right thing, and I think that was made from the military. But yeah, structure of just having ideas of how you're going to do things, like sort of what sort of routines you're going to do, the hunger of competitiveness.
Yep.
That I feel like I really sort of honed in from the army, and then just that sort of right from wrong discipline where you can still be a bit of a fucking shitbag here and there with certain things, but there's certain other things where I think that comes from trying to hold yourself higher as well. Like if you're trying to hold yourself higher, you're not necessarily going to be fucking just the baddest at all the rules either. There's going to be a couple of rules that you just toe the line with, and I think that sort of discipline from the army helped.
Do you think pride as well, Shane? Because
I think that would be a good word as well. Because that comes with that that little inner competitiveness in my head of wanting to hold myself higher than people. So therefore, like I'm proud to like hold myself higher. I'm proud to maybe take a little bit extra work on something just to do it that little bit better.
And obviously that shows through, your bookings as well, because you're booked out, 6 months in advance. So, showing a lot of pride in your work is probably a testament to those bookings as well.
Yeah.
Repeat customers wanting to come back. It'd be a hard industry if you didn't show any pride in your work.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's all it's all reputation as well. You have one bundle, like, you can guarantee if you fuck someone up for any type of job, doesn't matter if it's tattooing or not, but you do bad by someone, that person is going to go out of their way to tell at least 10 people and that's at very least. Like, these people, some people will fucking tell everyone from the fucking rafters, where if you do good work for someone, you'll be lucky enough to pick up, 3 recommendations from, that actually follow through and then get it work from you as well. So, it's definitely in your your best interest to, in that sort of oh fuck! What word are you saying? I'm lost my full train of thought. I'm just rambling again. But yeah, no, it's definitely in your best interest to have that sort of upper sort of thoughts of yourself and just do good.
So, and how long were you tattooing when you went out on your own or got into your partnership?
Okay, so I worked for my first boss for almost 3 years, I think. And that was good. It was just a bit of it was just a change that I wanted. So Sean, my business partner, he had been on me to get in with him for a while, you know. And I had that bit of loyalty like still in me. So I was like, I don't want to leave my boss, like blah, 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 because he's not doing anything bad by me, blah, 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 blah. And anyway, it just sort of deteriorated a bit more in that studio where I realised I wasn't sort of as appreciated as what I thought I should have been. So I jumped in with Sean, and to be honest, it's the best move I ever made. Like, I should have done it sooner. I still had that loyalty sort of to my first boss though, you know. So I did 3 years with the first boss, then jumped in with Sean. So me and Sean worked I worked for Sean for about 2 years, I think. And that was at Loco Tattoo. So he opened Loco Tattoo. We had our 10 years. Loco had 10 years, I think, last month. So he opened Loco 10 years ago. And we have now been in business together for 5 years. So, 7 years ago, I started working with Sean. Started working for Sean. And so we had about 2 years where I worked under him. And when I first moved in with Sean, I had my heart set on opening my own studio. So I bought a house. The house had like a commercial property downstairs of it, so that was my grand plan. I was gonna open my studio downstairs in a 70 square meter little fucking commercial office, and I was gonna have my own business and just be my own boss. And when I moved in with Sean, all the sort of settlement was still happening. So I said to Sean, I said, look, as long as you understand, like I might be scooting and booting in 2 months' time or 12 months' time, not sure. But as long as you're okay with that and you know that I'm, out of here because I want to open my own joint, then I'll be happy as to work for you, And he goes, yeah, fucking no worries, mate. Like it's easy as. And then me and Sean just fucking set off like a house on fire. Like literally, we are so good together. He's a role model to me. Like he's great, So again, super lucky that I've even come into contact with him,
Well, to get a business to 10 years and successful as well is a pretty big feat because a lot of businesses sort of fail in the first years. So to be going 10 years is fucking pretty good.
And be a competitive market down there on the GC as well.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So I did the 2 years with him, and then, not that like there was any sort of 2 year time frame, but I did 2 years with him. My tenants that I had in my property were leaving. And I said to Sean, look, like this is my chance like to open my own joint. But to be honest, like I love working with you. So would you ever be interested in, partnering? And I said, you can have this studio, I can have my studio. Like we'd be partners still, blah, blah, blah. And we sort of thinking of the process and working plans out and that. We're like, well, it doesn't really work to do that. So why don't, and he, to his credit as well, why don't I close my studio and we open a bigger one together? And I was like, well, fucking oath, cunt. Like if you want to close your studio, like your baby, and let's open a big one together, like I'm fucking gun ho. I'm
pretty big leap on his behalf.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm 100% into that. And so that was the plan. So we went from a 60 square meter property in the old Loco to then 150 square meter property now in the new Loco.
It's a big studio.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. And so now we've got 12 artist bays in our studio. At the moment, we've got 11 artists, one apprentice one non-tattooing apprentice, and a manager. So it's a bit of a circus in there when everyone's got their customers and everyone's in there and
a lot of buzzing.
Yeah.
But it's good. And again, that's probably a thing that I've learnt from the army as well, just that structure. Like Sean and I have just worked out structured like little sort of rules, not like, fucking Nazi rules, but just little structured rules and procedures to make sure everything's working like clockwork.
Yep.
And it does. Like the place is just absolute fucking pristine,
Just smooth.
Yeah, smooth. Yeah, 100%.
And dude, as you well know, like we don't
SOPs, I guess you can call them.
Yeah.
We don't just like hearing the good stories. Have you had what sort of big failures have you had? And how have you learned from them?
Fuck.
We talk about your bloody new studio build, how you thought you could do it by yourselves.
I'll tell you what.
You know, the chippies, he's done half a year chippying with his dad and he can suddenly build a studio.
Mate,
Still hasn't got his nail gun
Still
license.
put a frame up.
Tattoo us to fucking tradies, right? Yeah, no,
Well,
I mean...
use a floor... What is it? Floor covering experts, framing experts,
bro,
plastering
yeah.
experts.
That was a big eye opener building the studio. But look, I don't think there are any failures. There's just been lessons, you know.
Yep.
And then you every now and then you fucking run into a bit of a roadblock, fucking occurrence or event or whatever it is, and all you do is you just work out how to get past it, and then you know what, you just don't make that same mistake again.
Well, it's all perspective.
You don't let yourself get into that same bad spot again, and that's what has. And trust me, I'm a fucking idiot. Like I got myself into fucking trouble here and there, and you just fucking righto. I'm going to learn from that. That's not happening again.
And for sure, it's like another thing that you like. Diggers are good for is just that resilience.
Yeah.
And when you're having a shitty time, just pick yourself up and just keep
Yeah, well,
going.
you just got to pivot, really. It's, it's the way people perceive things. It's, I failed there. But not really. It's just another lesson that you've had to learn and fucking pivot from it and then keep moving forward.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Like I should have said earlier when we're talking about traits from the army, it's like credibility.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, sweet as, like I've got a Monday appointment. Like, so I know that, don't go wild on the weekend because you've got someone who you need to be, not credibility, like accountability. Yeah. So you've got someone who you've got to be accountable to Monday, or I've got, the business I've got to be accountable to. So the thing is like, yeah, that's one thing that 100% that I learned from the army. If you say you're going to fucking be there at what time or whatever, just make sure you're there at that time,
Yeah, I don't think I'm late to anything.
Yeah, you say you're going to do something, do it. Like your words worth everything,
Yeah.
If you tell cunts you're going to do something, you don't do it. Fuck. I mean, it's so often these days. Even just like, perfect example, like, yeah, I'm coming to your party. And then the day of, they're like, I'm not coming to your party. Sorry, bro. And they give you some bullshit excuse like, fuck, just say no from the start,
Yeah.
I remember some of the days out in Afghan, you got this shit as patrol. We got to walk through some fucking area where they've got this ambush or whatever. And you're just like, this one's going to be a bit wild, And then you look around, everyone else is doing it. You're like, fuck, yep, we're doing it, Yep. Holding yourself a bit accountable as well. Those appointments, those things that you need to do for work, like you've got to do them. Like if you say you're doing them, you're doing them.
So where's the business going now? Have you and Sean got a plan moving forward? Like he's going to expand or?
Yeah, see, we're great. We're so good together. So our sort of main thing is, like my weaknesses, Sean picks up for all of them with his strengths, and it's vice versa. With his weaknesses, he picks them. I pick all of them up. So for us to move forward, like that's such a good and that's such a strong thing that we have going for us. So we have plans to expand in that, but we need to make sure we do the right sort of plan for expanding. Yep. So at the moment, man, like, we're teetering on having a full studio, and it's been like that for the last 3 to 4 years, So their only step forward is to progress into something else.
Yeah.
But we need to make sure that we work out the plan properly, So we haven't rushed into anything like that because, at the end of the day, man, him and I both tattoo 5 days a week. So we're time poor. So if we are going to exert ourselves into something new, like something needs to give a bit, So for the first initial period, we need to slow down on our tattooing so we can look after that extra effort we need to do, or until we work out all the plans and procedures and stuff and everything starts going good. So at the moment we're fucking chock-a-block and full noise. So for us to go bigger and better, like we just got to make sure we have that step like down pat properly first, So
proper plan of action.
We haven't got anything in concrete at the moment, but we've always got ideas coming out of our Sean's ideas, man. That cunt loves ideas. He's got a great new idea all the time, and I'm probably a bit more old man. I'm like, I don't like change. So again, like my weakness, his strength, like so yeah, like obviously. we could open a second studio straight away and we would do quite well, but we want to make sure we do it properly. Our whole way we built Loco was going slow and building it up properly.
Not half-assing anything.
Making sure we got quality the whole way through. And that's shown because we don't lose artists. We don't have bad reviews. We have everything just primo quality. I'd rather have like a fucking epic quality workmanship, quality crew where everyone gets along, rather than just rushing something and little things imploding on the inside,
Yeah.
So,
and just problems. Like, let's be honest, problems are good because it works out. You work out ways to overcome them. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be overwhelmed with fucking problems.
No.
Yeah. So as the final question, mate, what would you say to people transitioning from the military? As a young dig, might be 17 and you're looking at discharging because you've had enough.
You're probably a bit older than
17.
You're 17. You're 21.
You've been in for a while.
You've done your 4 years. You're sick of going to TS every bloody March for 3 months and not showering and, not having your mobile phone and ringing your...
No, the cunts take mobile phones out field now, bro, apparently.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. But you're sick of calling your depender or you can't call her. So what would you say for someone transitioning out and looking at starting a business? Because that's what we're all about here is, giving people purpose, and we feel as though businesses give back purpose. What would you say, mate?
Okay, straight up, don't be a dumb cunt and leave without a plan forward. Like, you wouldn't leave any other job without another job to go to, so do not do that leaving the army.
Yep.
Pretty much, I think that's maybe the golden rule.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? If you don't know what you want to do, fucking do some sort of like education or training while you're in the army and use them dudes to pay for it.
Yeah. And I'd like to tack on top of that as well. Before you leave.
Because again, I'm going to cut you off, sorry. Because again, don't leave without a plan.
Yep. and get your fucking med docs squared away before you leave as well. Can't stress that enough because inevitably you are going to be visiting our good mates at DVA. So get your med docs squared away. We should also mention that, when you buy an NFT with Wardogs, you get discount at Ryan. So he's not cheap to be tattooed at. So
quick little subject change.
Yeah. So every war dog you own, you get $100 off Ryan every 6 months, which is pretty good. So, and then you get the perks of our business as well with War Dogs. So, I mean, that pretty much brings us to the end of it, mate. That's episode 4 of the War Dogs. 5, is it?
5.
Yeah. Episode 5
Shit.
of the War Dogs podcast.
How many we got on Thingo? But we've only got 3 on the Thingo.
Yeah, one's coming out soon.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Oh, is that?
Winnie's one.
Yeah, does that take us to 4? So this
That's the 4th one, if we need one.
Yeah, so this will be episode 5. All right.
Righto.
Well, thanks, Ryan.
Thank you very much, boys.
Thanks, mate. And, we've got a couple other podcasts.
Thank you for
to do
paying
today.
for my flights to come up here. It was great.
Yes.
And the free accommodation.
Thanks. Yeah, no drama, mate. Well, that's episode 5 of War Dogs Hour podcast done. We had Ryan from War Dogs and Loco Studios on the Gold Coast chewing the fat today and showed our listeners a small insight into his career as a soldier and now his success as a tattooist. If you know of a veteran who is doing something great in business or life post-defense, we want to hear from them. Slide into our DMs on Instagram and Twitter, wardogs_NFT. All episodes of War Dogs Hours podcast is available on all major podcast apps, Spotify and Apple Podcasts, etc., and YouTube as well. We're not filming these. That's it for today, fellas.
And just, Ryan, one last thing. Do you just want to share your socials so people can...
Oh, yeah.
socials,
Fucking oath. Yeah, just type in D, you'll probably find me. Nah, just joking. It's just it's Doddy Tattoo, so DODDY_tattoos. Filthy. But yeah, I think what we're trying to do here, we're trying to open people's eyes to stuff after defense. Well, I want to hear fucking mad worry. Trust me, I want to hear mad worries.
Yeah.
But I want to hear of dudes who are doing real good outside of the army or Navy or Air Force, even coppers. So if you do have someone that you know of, even stitch them up and just throw their details into our DMs, and we can then contact them and work out if they want to come on or whatnot. So it'd be great because it's cool to hear uplifting good stories of blokes who are fucking doing well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Maybe other cons can listen to that shit and then they can go, oh, righto, fucking there is some good things,
Yeah, it can be done.
And if you want an apprenticeship, it's hard work. So fucking, you better be ready.
Yeah, I wouldn't go knocking on these boys' doors anytime soon either. You might be jaffed now. I'm not sure. Imagine walking up there. Oh man, I've got a portfolio.
Oh, you know what? I did do it to someone. One young
did?
kid. Oh man. Oh, just a quick one at the end. Yeah, we'll have this little the little outro. But yeah, this poor little kid. His school teacher came in like, oh yeah, and he comes in. He goes, I'm in art, and I want to get an apprenticeship. And I'm like, okay, sweet as, like, what portfolio? Have you got any work for me, mate? And he goes, oh no, I don't have any drawings for you. I just thought I'd just come and say hello. And I'm like, well, look, bro, like, I don't know who your art teacher is, but he's kind of set you up for fucking failure straight away, man. Who's this cunt? Oh no, sorry. And then his mate jumped off the couch and he's like, oh no, here's the photos. I'm like, mate, who are you? Are you on this interview? And then this kid's like, and I'm like, sit back down. I said, bro, I'm serious about my business. You want to do something in tattooing, man, or any sort of job, take yourself seriously. You should have drawings ready. You should have this ready. You should have that ready. Don't bring your dropkick mate and sit on my fucking couch like a lazy cunt. I said, this is everything.
Paid for that couch,
this is everything you need to make yourself look as good as possible. Go to your school, tell your art teacher he's an idiot, and do all this stuff properly. I said, give me your Instagram and you and me can chat properly.
Yep.
And I can help you out on DMs. And he goes, I don't know my Instagram name. I was like, well, here you go. Give me your phone. Let me type my Instagram name into your Instagram. And he goes, I don't have any credit. I was like, oh, look, bro, you've just fucked everything up today. Yes. Can you please get out? I'm here to help the little kid.
Oh, mate, it's a life lesson.
Yeah, but yeah, I have had one moment like that. And I think only because I was in a fucking rush and he's just fully caught me off guard. And yeah, so,
set the mood.
Yeah.
Righto.
Anyway, that's the outro. I'm a fuckhead.
The Wardogs NFT mission and team and all related podcast episodes and content are provided for general information purposes only and do not constitute accounting, legal, tax or other professional advice. Visitors should not act upon the content or information found here without first seeking appropriate advice from an accountant, financial planner, lawyer or other professional.